what happened in your life that sort of set you up to do this kind of work?
Well, the interesting thing is my mom and my dad were very spiritual. I should say more in the religious box. And I grew up and was born and raised in a family that was very religious and in the Episcopal Church. And as I went on, I got to a point where it just seemed to be more limiting to me. And I kept thinking, why? Why? And finally I jumped out of the box, and I realized that there was this whole other world that was open to me if I would just be more universal in the way I thought. And it took me into this other place. It's just a matter of getting a little more bold in questioning why about things,
Right.
and because sometimes you have a tendency to stay in the box, and it keeps you in your safe little place. But really, life is about getting out of your comfort zone. That's how you grow. That's how you expand into greater spiritual awareness and understanding. So.
Plus, it's an illusion.
And
being
and
inside the box isn't really any safer than being outside the box.
It's not.
You know,
It really isn't. And it is the grand illusion. And I'm writing a whole new collection of songs that are just flooding through me, and a lot of it is really to help people understand that illusion. The difference between that. I mean, it's just the more we go on, the more we have to really open our minds up to looking at everything, that we're all innocent outside the dream.
So, Judy, what do you think is one of the biggest spiritual challenges that we're all facing today?
I feel it's the ego mind. That's my big thing. It is, once you can get past that and really become so aware of how you're thinking every single day, it takes you out of that limitation of which ego, our five senses, create. And it gets you into your higher mind, your best self, your true authentic self, so that everything lines up and everything flows, and we come together in greater understanding. We lift the veil, and we come into greater unity. And again, it's recognizing that it's all, it's all something that we're here to bust, is that ego stuff, because that's the cause of all our pain and suffering and chaos. And it's really just taking yourself outside that and saying, you know what, I don't have to choose that anymore. I can choose this other way of looking at things. So when you choose to expand that inner vision, that spiritual vision, it becomes a whole other world, and you become in alignment with your true path, your true authentic self, the self that you came in to really be.
So more in touch with your essence, really, your true nature.
Yes, yeah.
That's always a good plan.
Stuff, huh? Yeah, I think so
that's
too.
always really good.
It makes sense. People would rather stay in the mucky muck because it's familiar, even though they know it doesn't make any sense. They're in pain. They don't want to be there. But then again, the risk of actually going outside that is too frightening. I think if you take, your baby steps into that other way of looking at life versus staying with the old stuff, you just take your baby steps. You don't have to radically change, overnight. Nobody does. It is a process.
Mm-hmm. So can you give people some kind of an idea of how to bypass that ego?
Anything that doesn't feel good means you're moving away from your divine path, from alignment. And anything that does feel great, that feels like, I really want that, I'm passionate about that, I really want to go for that, move toward that, even though you can't see, but maybe the first 200 yards. You have to then go out on that limb and trust at that point. But what doesn't feel right is always that you're moving further away from what is right. When we get into that weaker place where we forget, wait a minute, my vibration is down here, my energy is down here. And you've got to get back in that alignment. And then that, universe does bring it in. Spirit, whatever you like to say, will bring it in. And again, it's you have to just jump out of the box eventually. You just have to try jumping out of the box. And that brings a whole other kind of perspective.
So we all have that part of us that has all the wisdom that we need to know,
Yes.
that knows what's best for us. Really trust.
That we get information all the time and we disregard it. We just gloss over it. We'll hear something on the radio and it'll seem to talk directly to us, and it's because it is talking directly to us. There's something in that. There is a message there. They're all around us. There are pieces of the puzzle all around. So you just have to open up your eyes and recognize it in that moment, because it's really magical when you do.
So talking about getting messages and asking questions, I was on your website and there was this beautiful chat that you have about asking Jesus or asking the universe for help, and got a couple of amazing images. I'm going to put the images up on the screen on your guitar. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, and I had just gotten to Santa Fe, and, after being 22 years in LA and then suddenly deciding that it was time to go, that I wasn't supposed to be there anymore, and abruptly just leaving. So when I got here, it was suddenly my ego was going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. What have I done? Oh my God. And I knew that some people in my family were going, oh, that's an amazing thing you're doing there. Are you sure? You sure there's a place for you to land? And I said, oh, no, I know, no, there's a place for me to land. So finally it caught up with me one day, and I thought, oh, I've got to nix this. This is an illusion I have to bust. I know it's not the truth, but that ego mind just wants to go, well, what about this? And what about your finances? And what about... And I finally just said, okay, I had to get really serious and real. And I said, one of the first times, I thought, I'm going to talk directly to Holy Spirit. I said, Holy Spirit, correct my thinking here. And then I said, Jesus, could you just please bring me a sign? Could you just show up in my dream? Or maybe, I said, it would really be nice if you could appear in front of me. That would be great, because I've heard that happens to people. And I thought, I would really be open for that. That would be great. So I forgot about it, and that was that night, my nightly prayers. And then the next day, and I had a friend that said, I would really like some stills of you for a project that I'm working with him on. And he said, could you do that? And I said, okay, I'll take some stills. And I sat in front of my webcam and I was firing off these pictures. And I didn't really look at the pictures until that night. And they were with my guitar. And there in two of the shots were a couple of images on my guitar. And I about fell off my chair. I looked at the first shot and it had this face on it. And I looked a little closer, and I thought, oh my God, I must be tired. That's crazy, because it really looked like the Shroud of Jesus. And I looked again, and I went, oh my God, it is. It's the face of Jesus. And then the second shot had imaged on my guitar a heart. And I thought, oh my God, that's a heart. Wow, oh my God. and I suddenly was like a little kid about it. And then I thought, no, I'm nuts. This is crazy. And I shut it down. And then I pulled it back up, and I looked again, because you know how the ego is, there's some other reason why that happened. It couldn't really be a sign from Jesus or, no, spirit, it's just in our minds. It probably really doesn't exist, but it does. And so I shot him off to a couple of friends of mine. I said, please tell me, am I crazy here, or do you see? And they called me right away, and they said, no, we see exactly what you see. And then that night, I happened to turn the TV on, and there was a PBS documentary on about the Shroud of Jesus.
Oh, well,
And
a little more evidence.
Fell over, because there on the television screen was that Shroud of Jesus for me to look at there. And then I looked at the picture, and there it was, imaged on my guitar. So I just thought that was the coolest thing. That was the most comforting thing that I think I've ever had happen to me, as a sign that, yes, you're on the right track. This is what you need to do, and keep doing it. And so ever since then, all this music, this new music has been flowing out of me. So I'm compiling the new work